Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And of course, we've heard a lot about the plight of running backs during this off season. Three running backs were franchise tagged. Tony Pollard signed his franchise tag. Saquon Barkley did not, but later agreed to a deal that could pay him an additional $900,000 on top of what the franchise tag would have paid. Meanwhile, there has been no resolution for Josh Jacobs. Needless to say, none of those three running backs were able to agree to a long-term deal. Nothing's going on with Josh Jacobs as of now. Not signed his franchise tag. Hasn't joined the Las Vegas Raiders yet. Well, this is via Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Chiefs Broncos among potential suitors if Raiders rescind Josh Jacobs' tag. Yes, they could still do that. That is a possibility. So Florio writes how the options are limited at this point. Jacobs accepts $10.1 million for one season. Jacobs and the Raiders work out an enhanced deal with more money and or a promise that he won't be tagged in 2024. As I mentioned, Saquon Barkley worked out an enhanced deal where he could get more money than he would on the franchise tag, but there was no promise he won't be franchise tagged next year. Jacobs skips all or part of the regular season. We saw Le'Veon Bell in the past skip the entire regular season. Didn't really work out for him as his career faded after joining the Jets afterwards. The Raiders trade Jacobs and his one-year deal, or the Raiders rescind the franchise tag and he becomes a free agent. As we know, money is basically dry at this point. Preseason has kicked off, the Hall of Fame game, so teams basically have their players signed, besides a few here and there. Option 5 could still happen, whether the goal is to get the fans, media on board or persuade owner Mark Davis the right move to pocket $10.1 million and move on. The Raiders quite possibly are setting the table to plausibly say, well, we've tried everything, let him go. He would be inclined to take the best deal he could get from a contending team, starting with the Chiefs. Source with knowledge of the situation, the Chiefs and the Broncos are among the teams interested in Jacobs. Man, imagine if the Chiefs were able to get Josh Jacobs, a guy who put up these numbers. Well, let's start. He is 25 years old. Was a first-team All-Pro last season. Led the league in rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns. Added another 53 catches, 400 yards. Led the league yards from scrimmage. Led in total touches, 5th in Offensive Player of the Year voting. What a season it was for Jacobs, but again, no resolution with his situation yet. Still sitting out training camp. Will sit out the preseason games unless he does sign that franchise tag. I still think it's probably most likely that Josh Jacobs plays for the Raiders next season. But man, is this an interesting piece of news. Both those teams are division rivals for the Raiders. You wonder if Mark Davis sees this and decides that rescinding the franchise tag isn't in his best interest because, the two suitors are teams in his division. But imagine a team with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Josh Jacobs. But Isaiah Pacheco really did have a good rookie season, but he's no Josh Jacobs. That's definitely for sure. But what are your thoughts? How do you think this situation ends for Josh Jacobs? Where will he play this season? Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.